The UAE is open to tourists and residents, and both categories of these travellers have to follow strict COVID-19 safety measures. Here's all you need to know. In Abu Dhabi, visitors from green list destinations are exempt from quarantine. However, a PCR test is required on day 6 and day 12 of arrival. The green list countries are Australia, Bhutan, Brunei, China, Greenland, Hong Kong, Iceland, Mauritius, Mongolia, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore. Visitors from any other country must quarantine for 10 days at home or a hotel. Those travelling from high-risk countries must also quarantine in a government facility. Those in quarantine must wear the wristband issued by the authorities. A COVID-19 PCR test must be taken no more than 96 hours before departure. A printout of the negative test results is required for check-in. Passengers will also undergo an additional PCR test upon landing in Abu Dhabi. Residents can visit uaeentry.ica.gov.ae to verify their UAE entry status. If you are a tourist traveling to Dubai via Abu Dhabi, you must have an Abu Dhabi tourist visa. Tourist visas issued in Dubai will not be accepted. All passengers to the Abu Dhabi airport must have Al Husn app downloaded. In Dubai, all UAE residents, tourists, and GCC citizens must take a COVID-19 PCR test 72 hours before departure. A printout of the negative test result must also have a QR code linking to the original test report. The date and time of sample collection and date and time of receiving the results also need to be accurate. Some travellers may be required to undergo additional testing on arrival. Children under the age of 12 and passengers with moderate to severe disabilities are exempt from PCR tests. UAE nationals are not required to take a PCR test. However, they will be tested at Dubai International irrespective of their country of departure. Residents travelling back to Dubai will no longer require a GDRFA approval. Resident visa holders from other Emirates must get approvals from ICA before returning to Dubai. All travellers must download and register on the COVID-19 DXB app. For Sharjah, a COVID-19 PCR test must be taken no more than 96 hours before departure, including an additional test upon landing. Travellers must self-quarantine at their respective residence until they get the results of their PCR tests. Those who tested positive must isolate for 14 days at their own expense. All residents are allowed to enter the country through Sharjah International without obtaining prior approvals. Tourists must have an international health insurance and a United Arab Emirates SIM card, which is available at PCR testing zones.